They tore through. They haven't patched it up. They're legally obligated to do so. They didn't even give it a, foursquare shot. Their water is full of chlorine. We don't know where it's coming from. Everything about, I agree with the other person that said this. I think it was Mr. Tuttle, and I'm happy to respect my elders by deferring to his opinion, which is everything. No, I was raised that way. You're respectful of your elders. The point, and he's not terribly older either, is he? But the point is that this deal stinks to high heaven. It just stinks. It stinks. And we have tried to be reasonable. All we want is the proper legislation, the proper protections. And they come in and say that they're going to do it come hell or high water. Terrible pun. I say to everyone here, it's time to go to the Attorney General. I would love to join with the town, Mr. Tuttle, Mrs. Tuttle. I think it's time to go to the law and say, we have the poster child for a misbehaved public authority that is bound and determined to do what the citizens of the North Fork, South Hole Town do not want to do. The citizens have researched it to death, made every possible argument for not accepting their waters, and they just keep on trucking. I say it's time to go to Andrew Cuomo and just beat these folks back, because they apparently don't get it.
I just want to remind everybody that this is a public hearing. That I don't, I can't predispose what the board's going to vote for. I just let you know earlier that we're certainly aware of all the different options and all the different scenarios that we might need to contend with.
I just wanted to get back to an earlier thing that Bob DeLuca said. I mean, I find it terrifying that these people can go right ahead and do this without the proper safeguards. Therefore, maybe we should consider asking you guys to do the freeze on zoning that Mr. DeLuca suggested.
What the request was actually for a moratorium on applications for change of zone. All that moratorium would do was tie the hands of this board when I think I can tell you as a board member, I'm not going to vote for a change of zone that's going to increase density, residential density in Orion. I'll tell you that without a moratorium. We couldn't legally tie the hands of a future board. And that's where a lot of the concern is with the public. As I've talked to them, and I've went and met with Linton Dool and some others, the concern is what happens in the future. Well, the moratorium that we could pass would only disable us.
Just for the length of time until the new plan is...
I think the resounding message tonight was okay, but not yet. I mean, I heard that loud and clear, and I think that's something the board needs to take very seriously. How we get there is the strategy that we'll need to talk about.
I just want to add a point of clarification, because one of you members said that Mr. Jones had said, oh, we have no interest in drilling wells in Orient. Well, as with the town board here, the Water Authority personnel can and does change. And at the 1996 meeting, when Mr. Lograndi came out and spoke to a packed Pocatuck Hall in Orient and said that the authority has come to Orient with two separate missions. The first is to guarantee safe water for the 24 households in Browns Hills, and I don't need to go into any of that. We all know about it. But then he went on to talk about the problems with nitrates and things, and said, so SCWA, quote, this is a quote from Lograndi, and since I wrote this newsletter and I'm a professional journalist, I guarantee I got it right. He said, is trying to buy and secure sites, says Lograndi, as a backup, so that if homeowners have problems in the future, quote, we could just hook them up. He insisted that the authority, quote, is not asking for customers in Orient. Bringing water over the causeway would be too expensive, adding that, quote, this is an area that should have growth controls. And people in the audience wondered if SCWA wouldn't inevitably need to justify owning land in Orient by finding new customers. Lograndi said the authority has no customers for its new site in Peconic. So forth. Asked how important it is to get them, he replied, we can wait a few years.
Thank you. I do want the public to understand that there is a changing dynamic at the Suffolk County Water Authority. Mr. LaGrande, as a resident of the town, and Mr. Jones, who has a history with this town, have, I think, been historically more sensitive to the issues that we face. But there's a changing dynamic there, and the town board is certainly very aware of it. Mr. LaGrande is long retired, and Mr. Jones, in my understanding, is retiring soon. The town board is very aware of the changing dynamic up there, and the mindset is more West End driven. We're very cognizant of that, and certainly have had numerous discussions on our strategies.
Very quickly, you just said that what you hear is not yet. I say no. I think these guys have got to be clipped. I think that they have literally said